Catholicism in England. Catholicism has undoubtedly had a profound and significant impact on the British Isles, causing a great many conflicts even until the modern day. However, I intend to bring to light some of the more obscure and unknown issues, which, while often misunderstood, have a greater significance than many think. Beginnings. It is widely accepted that Christianity became accepted in Britain in the centuries and decades prior to the Anglo-Saxon invasion or migration to the Isles. Romano-Briton Christianity is largely shrouded in mystery, and unpicking the truth would need its own video. However, it is necessary to understand that the Celtic peoples of Britain have had a long and storied history with Christianity, and that their influence is felt at every point in English history. Today, I will be focusing on England, and a reference to other countries on or around the British Isles will be their effect on happenings in England. A new influx of Germanic pagans to the east coast would lead to the church being reintroduced in 600 AD with St. Augustine and Aidan of Lindisfarne. This attempt at conversion would prove successful in the kingdoms of Kent and Northumbria, as evidenced by the two archbishoprics of Canterbury and York. Despite this, however, Roman tradition, or Catholicism, would be gradually adopted over the 7th and 8th centuries. The Normans. The next notable event is the Norman conquest. William the Bastard would, with papal blessing, conquer the Kingdom of England. And this papal blessing is inescapably significant, as right up until Henry VIII, the Church owned almost 1/3 of the land in England. Their power was demonstrated clearly in the 13th century, when pressure from the Church so weakened the then King John that he was forced by his nobles to sign the Magna Carta. It's worth briefly explaining the Magna Carta, as it will become relevant later on. Also known as the Great Charter, it is a list of rights which became part of England's statute law, or unwritten constitution, as drafted by the Archbishop of Canterbury. It promised the protection of church rights, illegal imprisonment, access to swift justice, and limitations on feudal payments to the Crown. In short, it's the first irrefutable step towards the parliamentary settlement we see today, and as you can see, the Church had an integral part to play in not only creating the situation in which it was needed, but in dictating its content too. The Tudor Reformation. Most people know about Henry VIII and his 6 wives, but the intricacies of the religious settlement are often overlooked. Furthermore, I believe that it is a direct result of the War of the Roses, which I will discuss at greater length in another video, titled something like Politics as Religion, which will doubtless annoy some people. The important part of the settlement, however, is the submission of the clergy, and that the king became the supreme governor of the Church of England. The Act of Submission states that the Church of England was to renounce its ability to make church law without royal license, to submit all canons or laws to a committee appointed by the king. This essentially gave the king complete control over religious law and practice, at least as far as he could enforce it. Henry also made it an act of treason to publicly oppose these new laws, cementing his control over religion in its entirety. It's also necessary to remember that other forms of Protestantism, such as Lutheranism, were still forbidden at this point and punishable by death. Now, although Queen Mary, or Bloody Mary, had little success in returning England to Catholicism, her reign did see a number of religiously motivated killings, creating, or at least normalising, a fear of Catholicism, which would be cemented by the Spanish Armada a few years after her death. While Henry's church had diverged little with the practice as prescribed by the Bishop of Rome, the Elizabethan and Stuart return to Protestantism had a distinctly Calvinist character, making Catholics stand out more. As such, the 16th century was a period of monumental change in the authority of the monarchy in both religious and, by extension, political and temporal matters.